And we are back. It is day 5 of the Nations League, and I'm just going to be frank with you straight away. If you're only interested in the predictions, feel free to skip ahead to a later part of this video. I am going to go on a bit of an England rant for the next 4 or 5 minutes, so feel free to do that now. And yeah, I have to admit I've not really calmed down after that performance last night. I cannot believe how badly not only we played, but then also the management from Gareth Southgate. I said to you in my England squad video that I still don't want Gareth Southgate in charge of this team, and last night is exactly the reason why. We started with 5 at the back, Rice and Bellingham against Hungary, with the greatest of respects to Hungary. I know I said yesterday they've pulled off some good results recently, but with the quality of player we have available, we do not need to be treating Hungary like they're 2002 Brazil or 2009 Barcelona or something. They are not a team we should be worried about, and for whatever reason Gareth Southgate chose to still play 5 at the back and arguably 2 holding midfielders against Hungary. And then what annoyed me is that after the game he said that he wasn't disappointed with the performance, he was only disappointed with the scoreline because he felt we were good in control of the possession and things like that. We just didn't create enough chances. And if that's really the mindset of an England manager that the FA are happy with, then maybe it's the FA that should go, because as far as I'm concerned, he's got 10 days now where we play Italy, Germany and Hungary again. And if we don't pull out some good results, which I watched the Italy-Germany game last night, we play like we did last night, we haven't got a chance. And if we don't perform in those games, I think he should lose his job. Give a new man the 2 remaining Nations League games in September, a couple of friendlies before the World Cup to get an actual system that suits the quality of players we have available to us. I mean, look at last night's game. It was 0-0 in the 65th minute, and he took off the right back and a centre back for another right back and another centre back. And not only that, Kyle Walker was the only one stopping their attacks. And it was him going off, which then led to their goal because John Stones wasn't fast enough to cover the ball in behind, meaning Reece James had to come out of position and deal with it like that. He then caused the penalty. I still don't think it was a penalty, but it doesn't matter because after that incident, there were 2 more chances in John Stones' position that should have been scored and both missed catastrophically by the Hungarian forwards. We should have lost that game 2 or 3-0, and he's happy with how we played, just not the result. Oh, it's embarrassing. It really is. I'd say the only player that sort of can hold his head up reasonably high is Jarrod Bowen on his international debut. I thought he put in a good shift, but it was effort without any real quality at the end of it. He brought Bukayo Saka on at left wing back. It's not 2020 anymore. He's one of the best right wingers arguably in the world right now, and you put him back at left wing back when you had the opportunity to put Trent at left back, Walker to right back, and then more attacking. And then what sort of finished it off for me is that after being 1-0 down for 20 whole minutes with just 5 minutes left, when you have the likes of Phil Foden, Raheem Sterling, Tammy Abraham, a whole host of attacking options on the bench, he takes off a centre back and puts on Calvin Phillips. Just honestly, he has to lose his job, in my opinion. We need a proper manager in charge for the World Cup, or we are going to waste an entire generation of English talent, in my opinion. But anyway, enough about that. We'll get back to our usual running, our originally scheduled programming, as they say. I have got Dave with me today because we are going to be talking about Switzerland at some point today. If you didn't know, Minions are originally from Switzerland, so that is why he's here to talk about the Swiss game today. Let's get into the Matchday 4 results before looking ahead to Matchday 5. So, these were my predictions for yesterday, and I didn't only get the England prediction wrong, I got everything wrong other than the Turkey-Faroe Islands score. And thank goodness I actually got the score correct, because if I hadn't have done, then it would have been a very low scoring day. Not really any complaints other than probably the Ireland result. I think Ireland should definitely be beating a team like Armenia. It actually means that all 5 of the British Isles teams lost. England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland all lost this week. Obviously, I spoke about Italy and Germany. I thought that was a much higher quality of game, and the draw was probably the fair result. And yeah, not really any other complaints about the other results. I spoke about them in the predictions yesterday, and they were probably all my second choice options, shall we say, in terms of how the results would finish. So a match day score of 3, saved by that Turkey-Faroe Islands result, putting the tournament score up to 17. So as always, please let me know down in the comments how you got on yesterday, how you're getting on for the season. I will leave that copy and paste option available to you in the description, along with Matchday 5's fixtures. And speaking of those fixtures, here they are. So we start with San Marino and Malta, the two teams in League D. And as much as it would be nice to see the lowest ranked team get a result, I just don't see it happening. So I'm going to go for 2-0 to Malta. I'm sure San Marino will get there eventually, but I don't think it's going to happen today. You never know though. On to League C. After not seeing League C yesterday, we're seeing a whole lot of League C today. 2 groups, starting with Group 2. We have Cyprus and Northern Ireland. Just said about how all the home nations lost. I still think Northern Ireland should be too good for Cyprus. They don't really have any sort of notable quality. The Cypriots comfortably lost to Kosovo after I predicted them to draw the other day. But obviously Northern Ireland lost at home to Greece. So they're in need of a performance. I think they should be beating Cyprus. But I am going to give it as a 1-0 only there. On to the other game, we have Kosovo and Greece. And before even looking at the form and the head-to-head between these two, I'd have probably gone for a draw. And when looking at the head-to-head, I realised that these two sides have played each other 3 times in the last 12 months. And all 3 times it has ended as a draw, with the last 2 both being 1-1 draws, which is what I'm going to go for here as well. Obviously, Sod's Law indicates that the moment you predict a draw on a game that should be a draw, it inevitably isn't. So congratulations to whichever team does eventually win today, but I have to go for a 1-1 draw there. On to the other group in League C, we have North Macedonia up against Gibraltar, and the reason I say it that way round is because Gibraltar really are the outlier of this group. As I spoke about a few days ago, North Macedonia should be winning this comfortably, as Georgia did the other day. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win for North Macedonia in that one. The other game, though, I think is going to be a lot tighter. Bulgaria were unlucky not to beat North Macedonia if it wasn't for that controversial VAR decision at the end of the game, which cost Bulgaria their penalty. I was considering a draw for this one, but again, I went to head-to-head form, kind of like the Kosovo Greece game. And these two sides played less than 12 months ago, and Bulgaria won 4-1. So I am going to edge this one in Bulgaria's favour, but I'm not going to go that extreme. I'm just going to go for a 2-1 win for Bulgaria there. On to League B, and we have the group of Sweden, Norway, Serbia and Slovenia. And we start with the 2 sides that won their opening fixtures in this group. And again, I think this is a really tough one to call. I think, as always, if Erling Haaland can turn up for Norway, I think they're more than capable of beating Sweden. They have a very good defensive record, Norway, and Sweden do struggle to score. But on paper, I would say overall, Sweden are a better team. So I'm not going to split them. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this one. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if either team won this. So I think it's safe to go down the middle in that one there. As for the other one, we have Serbia and Slovenia. Serbia, in my opinion, unlucky not to get at least a draw against Norway. We spoke about how well Norway defended a moment ago. Slovenia really do rely on essentially their goalkeepers to get them out of these games. I think Serbia should have too much quality for them. I'm going to go for 2-0 to Serbia in that one. And now we move on to League A, and we start with Czech Republic against Spain. Czech Republic obviously top of the group after their win over Switzerland. Sorry, Dave. And Spain after a fantastic performance against Portugal, which didn't really merit the 1-1 draw. I am going to go for a Spain win, though. I think, as well as Czech Republic played against Switzerland, I think Spain are a level above. I spoke about how impressed I was with them against Portugal, so with that overall quality, I expect Spain to get the job done in the end in this one. And the last game of the Nations League that we'll talk about is Portugal and Switzerland. And, sorry Dave, once again, I am going to go for a Portugal win. Not too heavy a win. Like I said, I was disappointed with how they played against Spain. I think they can certainly play better, and Switzerland can certainly play better as well. I think it's going to be a tight affair, but again, I'm just going to go for that overall quality from a Portugal standpoint to get the result in this one. Now, normally I would say this is the end of the video. However, I am now also going to talk about an additional fixture today, because it is the the World Cup playoff final tonight. As I move my camera, we have Wales up against Ukraine, and it's a tough one. This one isn't for points. I will include it in the description along with the other predictions if you do feel like letting me know what you think, but no points are going to be on the line for this one because it is a knockout game, not a league game, shall we say. After the way they played against Scotland, and after, I know Wales rested players against Poland, but after the way they played against Scotland, I think it's very hard for me to go against Ukraine here. I am going to go for a 3-1 win for the Ukrainians, as it was against Scotland. You just never know with Wales. Obviously, if Gareth Bale turns into prime Gareth Bale once again, like he always seems to do for Wales, then maybe they can get the job done. But kind of like with some of those Nations League fixtures, I look at the two teams on paper, and Ukraine are a much better team than Wales. They should get the result here. The Wales crowd will obviously be behind the Welsh team, but kind of like with the Scotland game, I think if Ukraine score first, this game is over. If Wales manage to get an early lead, then we could be in for a bit of an entertaining afternoon. But overall, I am going to go for Ukraine in this one. I think 3-1 would be a fair result, and the result that the people want, shall we say, given everything going on in Ukraine right now. And that will be it for today's video. As always, please let me know down in the comments your predictions for today. Like I said, the fixtures will be in the description for you to copy and paste them down. Please consider subscribing if you are enjoying this daily series, and of course drop a like as well. Ring that bell if you want to get your predictions in before anybody else. And I will see you tomorrow, where hopefully I will be in a slightly better mood, because England wouldn't have played today, and hopefully they would have won a test match of cricket. If we do lose to New Zealand today in the cricket, I'll be as equally in a bad mood tomorrow. So here's hoping that doesn't happen, and I will see you then. Thank you very much for watching.